Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders with a Heart podcast. Today, I have a real leader with a heart, my good friend Chu Tang. We connected from my favorite community, our favorite community, the Serving Circle. About a few weeks ago, we had a wonderful conversation. I would say 2-3 weeks ago. And as soon as I started talking to her, I knew that she is a great fit for me to bring her back on my podcast and have her share her story. And here is she today. She has a very, very interesting and very powerful story. She was born in Cambodia of Chinese origin. She left Cambodia in 1972. And then she's been in the US. Now she's in San Francisco, where she's doing a lot of good things. And among many things, what really stood out is that she was invited at some point to do a presentation at NASA on Pixar animation, and she was the one hosting the event. And that was absolutely very, very, very fascinating. So we're going to talk about that as well as all the other things she's doing. She's a very heart-centered lady. She's all about the heart. Her tagline really exemplifies that, which is blossom our beauty, be brave to be different, and who you truly are. You truly are. And she's also she wants to she has a lot of ideas that she wants to get to the world, which is through a book and a podcast. We talked about that, and yeah, lots of exciting things happening, lots of exciting things in store for us. So yeah, without any further ado, Chu, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. So as I told you last time when we talked, the types of conversations I'd like to have is to look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation, hence the name Leaders with a Heart. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So we're going to talk about all the amazing things you're doing in a moment later on in this podcast. But first and foremost, for people who don't know you, who's Chu as a person and as a human being?
Okay. I think that as long as we're breathing, we could make a difference. And as long as we have a voice, we could also make a difference. And when people said that, oh, it cannot be done, it has not been done before, it usually will give me more inspiration to try it. Yeah, because we're all individual, we're all different. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. This is beautifully said. As long as you can breathe, you're in a position to have a voice and to have an impact. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to start by asking you now a series of rapid fire questions to get to further know you as a person. Ready?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What makes you happy?
When I see people happy.
Beautiful. What makes you smile?
Like a child smile. See a child smile.
Beautiful. What makes your soul come alive in a good way?
Oh, when I achieve something, when I'm helping someone. Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
When some of us are close-minded and we have a problem, but we're not willing to change our belief.
I agree. What scares you?
What scares me is when we give up.
Agreed. What is your number one personal superpower?
I think I'm pretty resilient.
Oh, yes. That's a very important skill indeed. Awesome. Now, let's talk about something fun that we both love, which is traveling. You like traveling, right?
Yeah, I love traveling.
Good. What was your very first trip?
My very first trip, actually, that I remember, it was actually Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Because I was from Cambodia and I flew to Vietnam. I didn't know that was it.
How old were you back then?
I was about, I think, 6 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. So you went with your family, I guess?
Yeah, because it was illegal to study Chinese in Cambodia.
Really?
So my parents say, oh, take the 3 eldest kids and then fly to Vietnam. So I get to go first with my grandma. And I thought, wow, first time I get on the airplane, exciting, I thought it was a trip.
How long did you stay in Vietnam?
I stayed there for 5 years.
Wow. Which city?
Uh, at that time was Saigon.
Now it's Ho Chi Minh. Yes. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, before the communists. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your first reaction upon landing in Saigon?
Oh, actually, I was very airsick
Ah.
because I was on the airplane that go up and down.
Oh, yes. Can
All I
be.
remember was very airsick. Yeah, but yeah. So I don't remember much. It's just getting pretty airsick. Yeah.
So, when you moved to Vietnam, how different was your life compared to back home in Cambodia?
Very different. I mean, most people don't believe that, but when I was in Cambodia, I was a D student.
Wow.
Yeah, because life was so easy, and I was happy that I got a D because I didn't have to repeat the class. Yeah.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, so then when I went to Vietnam, I don't know, because I was away from my parents, and then my parents continued to write letters to us and say that life is very difficult, business is very difficult, and I started learning how to be a responsible person. So then I began to pay attention to school, and then back then there was like, if you have a class of 30 people, it's basically like first place and second place and all that, right? And then that first summer in Vietnam, I got the fourth place. I don't know how, but I guess I
Wow.
paid attention. Yeah.
Were
So
you,
very different. Yep.
were you able to speak Vietnamese or you had to learn it?
I had to learn it. I had to learn it. Yeah. So I have to learn it, and also I have to learn Cantonese also, because the summer school that we were in, uh, was Cantonese, and I didn't know Cantonese. It's a Chinese dialect. Yeah. So I learned that, and then learned how to speak Vietnamese. Yeah. But it's easy, right? When you were young, it's easy to pick up the language.
Sure. But Vietnamese is not an easy language. Is Vietnamese close to Cambodian?
No, completely different. Completely different. Writing, everything completely different. Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the moon and the sun.
Oh, okay. They complement each
Yeah.
other. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then, okay. Now, let me take you down. We're going to talk about that later on, but now let me take you down a different type of traveling.
Mm.
And now I wanted to take you down to the memory line. Go back to when you're a young girl. When we're kids growing up, people around us, family, relatives, teachers, friends always ask us, so Chu, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer as a young girl?
I told them I want to be an astronaut.
Oh, really? Me too. I swear. Me too.
Yeah, because I thought, what's the coolest thing to become an
Yes.
astronaut? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, what was your relationship with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
Um, I like school. I like school. Yeah, I like school. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was your favorite subject?
My favorite subject was I have to say math.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because math is a universal language, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, yeah. I was
The
pretty
la-
good in math. Yeah.
the language of the stars and of the universe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yes, it is. So, was there any subject you did not like at all in school?
Um, I guess I have to admit that I really, really bad in PE.
Oh, sports. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I will run and then I will fall and then I'll find excuse to go to the nurse office and I don't have to run.
Yes, I can imagine that. Wow. Okay. Now, what was your very first job?
My very first job out of college was working for a company that created 2.5D called CADM. Yeah. So it was for architect to use. Yeah, it's like a 2.5D. Yeah. So it was completely it was a graphics, yeah.
So, let's talk now about your path from the moment you left college to now. How would you describe it? Would you say it was pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing? Once you get into one lane, it was straightforward, or was it more like a turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
Yeah, I think it's like a roller coaster, but I'm in control.
Oh, that's important. You're in control.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
So now let's go back to Vietnam. So you stayed there for 6 years. And after
Yeah, about
Vietnam,
five, 6 years. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
After Vietnam, did you go back to Cambodia or that's when you
No,
moved back to the
no,
US?
no. That's start of my search for freedom, right? because Vietnam became communist, and then
Yes, yes.
during Vietnam, I almost died from a illness, and then and then I had a virus in my brain, so I almost died from an illness, and that was the first time that I experienced, is there life and death? Because before that, I didn't know that was death, right? So so I remember that moment. It's like, wow. And then I escaped, and I went to Malaysia. Yeah, so my life changed drastically from that point on, because before that I was still a very innocent, happy child.
So when you were in Vietnam, when the war started, do you
Mhm.
remember the war?
I remember, like recently when we heard about people clinging onto the airplane, and I
Oh, yes, in
remember,
Afghanistan. Yes, yes,
about
yes.
it. Yeah, helicopter people dropping up from the sky. Yeah, I remember that. But luckily,
Wow.
where I was, we were safe. Yeah. But I
Okay.
remember the experience of that. Yeah, it was very scary.
So how did you leave? Because that's very, very interesting to me, because as I told you as well, I was born in a country that was also affected by war, especially the communists. I was born in Afghanistan just after the invasion of Afghanistan by the Soviets in December 79. I was born right after that. And even though I was lucky that I was too young in my family, we left very early. I didn't remember anything from the war. I was 3 years old, 4 years old. But still, I always have this connection with these people, and the way we left, that can be that we escaped from Afghanistan. That can be a book by itself. Actually, this is what I talk in my chapter, which will go live tomorrow. I share in not in too much detail because we only have 3,000 words, because that can be an entire book by itself. So, but this is what I share. So now I'm interested to hear your story. How did you escape from Vietnam to Malaysia? And I'm sure this can be a wonderful topic for a book, because this is the kind of stories that people, especially now, need to know, so they can realize what kind of very, very difficult times some of us had to live, so we don't have that repeat again.
Yeah. I remember quite vividly that moment that I was with my grandma, my older sister, my older brother, the three of us. I mean, the four of us. And I remember vividly they said, "Okay, it's time to go." So we took what we have. We left. We only have what we have. So we kind of pretend like we are leaving for a trip, because we were renting we were renting an apartment upstairs. So we just kind of walking as if we were going on a trip, because it was not, we were leaving illegally, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then people were like, "Oh, we guys going?" And then we kind of ignore them. We just kept going. And then I think we got on a truck. Yeah, I think we got on the truck. And then they take us to this place where we meet more people. And it was a big hall room. It was a big hall room. And I think we spent the night there. And then I think it was the next day. We got on a boat. And I remember it was, I remember when people say quicksand. And to me, it was like mud. It was like, if you step in there, you're going to be trapped. And actually, later on in my life, I met one of my colleagues, and that's how her father died.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so we got on the boat, and then of course, it's kind of like, that's why I can't really watch the movie Titanic, because they will put us in the bottom. And for days, I think it was like 6 nights, 7 days, for days. And I can only look up to that little square window. And I don't know, for some reason, they didn't put me next to people in my family. I think it was like random. I was sitting next to a stranger, and it was on a bench.
So were you and your family on the same boat or on different boats?
Yeah, we were on the same boat.
But not together. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know why they didn't put.
But could you see them? Could you hear them? Or
I could see them, but at that time, because I was very close to my grandma, right? Because I was never separate from her. At that time, they put grandma on the top, because my grandma, before this, I think she fell and she couldn't get up. Yeah, she fell, she couldn't get up. So they put her on the top. So that was the first time I got separate from my grandma. And I keep saying, "Where's grandma? Where's grandma?" And I sit next to all these strangers. on a bench. It's not even cushion on the bench. And it was like packed like sardine. Yeah, it was. That's why even up till now, I think that's where I developed my claustrophobic.
Oh, I can imagine. Yes.
Yeah.
So you were on that boat from the time you left Saigon to Malaysia. You said about 10 days, 9 days.
Yeah, this is before Malaysia, right? And then the boat got to Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then from Malaysia, how long did you stay in Malaysia?
So they put us in a camp, and we were there for maybe 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe 9 months. Yeah.
And then from there, from Malaysia, that's when you were able to get you and your family to the US?
Yeah, so a church in Florida sponsored us, and
beautiful.
I feel so bad that I lost touch with them. I hope to able to get in touch with them.
Florida?
Yeah, because it's a Cuban church, and they help us a lot.
What's the name of it?
I don't know because I went back. I went back to look for them, and the church now is a different church.
Or maybe they don't exist anymore. Something else is at the place.
It's really sad because we moved to California, and then we lost touch, and now I've said, wow, I'd love to reach out to them because they help us a lot, because they
absolutely saved your life.
We didn't know anybody in US, so they sponsor us, and then that was Fort Lauderdale, so we went to Fort Lauderdale lived there for 1 year, and before I moved to California.
Wow, that is fascinating. Listen, this is a topic for a book and even a movie. Seriously.
No, a lot of us went through the same thing.
A book, yes. Your story is very similar to mine in some extent, because we had to hide. So when we left Kabul, I share my story in my book, but I will share it briefly here, because my father at the time was working in France. And the local government, they knew that my father was out of the country. They confiscated my mother's passport. So the only way for us to leave was through a smuggler as well. So during one night, I remember, well, I don't remember, but I was told by my family and all that, we left one evening to have dinner at some relative's house. We just took nothing, just our clothes and a backpack. We slept there at night. In the morning, early morning, we get on a car to a different location, and then during the days we were hiding in caves and then makeshift shelters, and at night in the cover of darkness we were walking. So we're trying to reach the Pakistani border, and then from Pakistan to freedom. So it was crazy because we had to hide, because there were two groups of people looking for anyone living. One, the Soviets, and two, the Mujahideen. If you were caught, if they catch you, if you're lucky, they would kill you on the spot. But if you're not lucky, torture and God knows what else. So for us, that journey lasted almost 10 days from the time we left Kabul to. It was the spring, I remember a little bit, and it was very mountainous because it's right at the feet of the Himalaya mountains. You have to go up. So sometimes we're walking on foot, sometimes on the back of donkeys, and on very steep, cliffs. The slightest mistake, you fall and you're gone, you're dead, because the cliffs are very steep like this. So it took us about 10 days until we finally reached Pakistan, and then from Pakistan we're able to my father was able to sponsor us to come to France. So this is what I talk in the chapter. But again, I know this would be, and I will write a book, God willing, and about that, and not just about my story, but the story of other. I would love to. I was looking to do a book for sharing the stories of other Afghan families. But since I know that unfortunately that was not just, there's other people around the world that had the same issue. Like for example, you, Cambodia, Vietnam, and I'm sure people in Africa and Central America. I would love to write a book sharing the stories of these people that are affected by war, how they left their country to freedom. This would be a book I want to write.
Yeah.
And when I do write it, I will let you know, because I want you to be in this book, because your story definitely deserves to be on that book.
Thank you.
But anyways, this is not about me. This is about you. So let's get back. So then you came to the US. How old were you when you got to the US?
I was about 12. Yeah, that
Okay.
was about 12. Yeah. Yeah, I got to US for Lauderdale. Yeah, and I didn't know any English at that time.
Of course.
So
Yeah. Was it easy for you to adjust to the new lifestyle, the new environment, or the first few months were
um,
difficult?
it was both easy but and also challenging because for some reason when we got to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
there's like a few like bilingual Chinese
Oh
teacher
yeah. Oh yeah.
heard of us, and then they help us to get into bilingual class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it was really fun because I got to learn biology, different subject. Yeah, and then the challenging part was like at that time, we had like student, calling us like, oh, Ching Chong, of making funny faces. And yeah, so that was the first time I experienced, racism, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yes, unfortunately.
yeah.
Wow. And then, all right, now, there's a saying that says, change your story, change your life. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves in our head all day long. So when
Hmm.
you chew at your lowest, how did you change your story to change your life? Was it through the help of friends, family, relatives, mentors, books, videos? Tell us the process that you used to change your story to change your life.
I I had a very, very two very special person in my life.
Mm,
And one was my teacher in high school, and the
mhm,
other one was I was working, I was doing a summer job at the same high school.
mhm.
Yeah, and they really changed my life because I'm very because I came to US and then I had conflict between the two cultures, right? Chinese and American. And then my family is very traditional. So from that point of view, anything that is American is considered not very good.
Yes,
So I admit I lost my identity, right?
of course.
Yeah, I
Yes.
went through an identity crisis. And so when I met these two wonderful people, my teacher's name is Eula, and the other friend is I call her Mrs. Oakley. Yeah. And they would say, no, Chu, you're wonderful. I said, really? I'm wonderful. Yeah. And they would encourage me to live my dream, to really live my
Beautiful.
dream. And they would share me a lot of wisdom, and then of course my grandma always want me to be happy, right? Yeah.
You mentioned that your family is from China. Which part of China?
My dad is from southern part of China. Yeah.
Which part? Kunming,
No, it's
Guangdong.
actually near Santou.
Okay.
Yeah, very close to Hong Kong.
Oh, so you guys speak Cantonese instead of, and but do you
No, Qiujiaonese. So actually speak Qiujiaonese.
okay. So you speak Sudanese. Do you speak also Mandarin and
And
Cantonese?
Cantonese, yeah. Because
Wow.
Qiujiaonese is my native dialect. And then remember I
Oh,
went to Vietnam, I had to learn Cantonese.
oh yeah, and Cambodian, and then French, and now English. So you're a multilingual person, just like
No,
me.
I wish I speak all of them well, but they all broken.
Oh, just practice. Listen, watch some TV, some shows, listen to the radio, the music, or even
Yeah.
in San Francisco, I'm sure you can find, you know, Vietnamese communities, French communities, Cambodian, Chinese community. Just go there, immerse yourself, talk to them. This is how you
Mm.
practice, and everything's gonna come back.
Yeah. Hope so. Yeah, I'll do that.
Awesome. Now let's move forward. Let's talk about what is the impact you're having now. Tell us about the business you're building now.
So during the pandemic, I realized there are two things that are very important: health and finance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I started to evaluate my life. Like, what is my life purpose?
Mhm.
And so I realized that I didn't really. Mine was before was all survival, right? Learning the language, getting fit,
Mm.
getting into the culture, and all that. So then I started realizing that I really want to help people in their health and the finance too. Yeah. So I get into the network marketing, and recently I met a really amazing team at Q Science. Yeah, and
Beautiful.
they focus. I'm very surprised because they focus on five very important values. They focus on
Wow.
faith, because they believe that I could do it. You know, it's kind of back to my two good friends say, hey, Chu, you could do it. And then they focus on family, because we can't just ignore family, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And friendship, which is very important, because without friendship, I won't be talking today, right? Yeah. And then finance and fitness. Yeah.
So the 5 Fs. I love that. So faith, family, friendships, finance, and and fun.
Fitness.
Oh,
Fitness is fun
fitness.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can add the sixth one. Then sixth one could be fun as well. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that.
Yeah.
So so are you building this business, or is this business already, operational?
Yeah, so Q Science is already operational, and
Okay.
I'm joining a team of people who are helping each other to be successful and to also help out to reach people. So yeah, so they teach me a lot of things, because I have almost no skill, right? No skill in network marketing. Yeah.
Oh, network marketing. Okay, I see. So do you sell? What exactly are you selling in this business, in this network marketing program?
So this program, so basically my job is just to introduce it to people,
Okay.
because this is not like the back in the old day where you have to get a whole bunch of product and start selling. Yeah, yeah. So vitamins, very high quality vitamins, herbs, hemp, and collagen and all that.
Beautiful. Wow. And what would you say is your ideal client for that?
My dear clients, any age, because nowadays we don't, it's very hard to have good nutrition, right? Because of our soil and all the environment contamination and all that. So I believe that we each, even at the kids level, we need to have good supplement. Yeah.
Absolutely,
especially
especially given how the current food is not as healthy as it was before.
Yep. So
Awesome.
all ages.
Awesome. Now let's talk about cause. What would you say is a cause that you're very passionate about?
The cause.
Like, for example, for me, it's about education, and for kids, especially kids that don't have access to education. For me, for example, for my business, every person that joins my academy, I sponsor a year of access to soccer, football, and education to kids in underprivileged countries. So for you, what would you say is a cause that you're really deeply passionate about?
I deeply passionate about helping people to believe in themselves, and then also to believe in their body. Because we thought that, we go see a doctor knows all, but doctor doesn't know all. We have to believe in our body, and I think God gave us a beautiful body.
Absolutely.
And our immune system is amazing. So I like to help people to believe and take good care of themselves, because without health, we can't do anything else.
No, absolutely. Health is the most valuable asset along with time that we have. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, this is really fascinating. Tell us about the time that when you did a presentation for NASA.
So I was working for Pixar, for a group that developed a renderer called RenderMan. And I used that renderer for years and years and years, right? So it took me 10 years to finally get a job at Pixar. So we talk about resilient, right? Because I never give up. Exactly. Yeah. So finally, I got into the group, and then we went to a conference, annual conference called SIGGRAPH, and I met the group from NASA, and I was like, wow, I didn't know NASA is using our RenderMan renderer, right? Yeah. So it was really funny, because I tend to be shy about asking, to visit a client, right? So my colleague said, hey, Chu, you should go. I said, no, you should go. And then I said, well, how about we both go? So we both went. Yeah. We both went, and then we had a good time. And then I said, well, come over to California if you guys have a chance, and that's when they visit California, the NASA group, and then I host the event and invite my Pixar colleague to attend. And then they thought, they returned me a favor. They said, hey, Chu, we have this I think it's their version of SIGGRAPH, like the internal one, right? And they say, I'd like you to talk about Pixar. And I was like, no, I have zero public experience, speaking experience. Yeah. So, but anyway, but my husband's like, oh, this is the once in a lifetime. And then he looked at me really sad when I was going to turn it down. And I said, oh, okay, fine, I'll try it.
Absolutely.
So,
Wow.
So I did.
Wow.
I spent over 60 hours preparing for that.
16. Wow.
60.
Oh, wow.
60.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's an entire week. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Listen, that could be an entire episode because I'm sure there's so much you can share, so many interesting, juicy, funny, crazy stories from NASA, but that's gonna be probably another episode. But listen, let's fly through. To finish off, I'd like to ask you some rapid fire questions on advices. Ready?
Mhm. Yep.
So what would you say has been so far the best piece of advice you've received in your life so far?
Just do it.
Just like Nike, just do it. Yes.
Mhm.
Beautiful. What's the worst piece of advice you've received so far?
It cannot be done.
Oh, yes. Very true. Yes, yes. Imagine now that you're blessed with a time machine and you can go back in time and
Mhm.
sit face to face with an 18-year-old Chu. What's the number one piece of advice you would give to her, knowing all that you know now?
It's okay to be different.
Oh, yes. Very good one. Yes. Now, do you have your own podcast?
No, not yet.
All right. What's the number one reason that you haven't started your podcast yet?
Well, time, and I don't know how to do it. I need to find the best teacher.
You're talking to him.
Yep.
All right. Now, imagine that you have your podcast today, and today you're interviewing the most special person in your world, which is yourself. So you're interviewing yourself on your podcast. What's the first question that you want to ask yourself? What's the first question that comes to your mind?
What do I want to do next?
And what is your answer?
Create miracles.
Wow, I love that. What kind of miracles?
Miracles in health, a miracle in people beginning to live their dream, and then make the world a better place. Happy,
Beautiful.
fun, inspiring place.
Beautiful. Now, the last question and my favorite question is, what is the smallest thing you've done in your life that has had the biggest positive impact in both your life and business? By small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing that you've done that has had the greatest positive impact. For me, it's been starting my podcast. What about you, Chu?
I decided to move to New Zealand.
Wow, you didn't tell me about that. We should have talked about that. No, when was that?
Yeah. That was the year 2000.
What made you decide to go to New Zealand?
I read the comic version of The Hobbit. And then I saw when I get to the end, the dragon and all that, I say, okay, I want to work on this movie. So then that's when I heard about this visual effect company, Weta, in New Zealand, and no one I know really know about them. And they say, why you move to New Zealand to it's not Hollywood. Yeah, but I did, and that changed my life.
How long did you stay there for?
I stayed there for a total of about 6 years. I stayed there twice. And I do have a permanent residence in New Zealand.
Wow. Yeah, so you were there to work or to
work, yeah. So I went there, and then Peter Jackson decided to do Lord of the Ring instead of The Hobbit. So then I worked on Lord of the Ring and I stayed for 2.5 years.
Wow, you were working on the movie The Lord of the Rings. Wow, you didn't tell me that. Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
What was your job there? What was your role?
My job was because we need to create because Peter Jackson liked to add shots, like new shots. And then by that time, principal photographer was already done. So it was a lot more expensive to get the actors back to New Zealand. So we end up creating them digitally.
Wow. So you were the one creating it.
Yeah. So my job was I create almost the whole fellowship except Sam and Gimli, which I didn't do, but
Oh
but
my
I did the rest.
God,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Wow. You know, now I need to bring you back for a second episode to talk about what was it to work on such a classic movie. Absolutely. We have to bring you back because that would be, oh, there's so much we can talk about. Wow. Listen, Chu, absolute pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, same here.
Let's wrap this up, but definitely bring you back for part 2 in the next very near future because there's so much more we can talk about. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
The best way is they go to my personal website, allhealth.info.
Okay.
ALL, health.info. It's very easy.
All
and
right.
then they can hit contact, and yeah, then they will get to read my blog also for my NASA presentation, all that. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'll put all that in the show notes. So yeah, listen, Chu, absolute honor, pleasure, blast talking to you. There's so much more, that we need to explore, but we'll do that next time. In the meantime, keep shining your light, keep blessing the world with your presence, with your impact, with your smile, with everything you're doing. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you, my friend. Take care. We're definitely going to be talking. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.